Answer for this one should be 2 2/3. Answer is 20. Answer for this one is 5. Homework checked from Friday. You must have the graph and the work shown on a separate piece of paper for those that required it. We have 14 out of 19. And that is 74%. Homework lottery to those who have credit for their homework. The winning numbers for the lottery will be 7, 9, 15, 18, and 20. Before we go through the answers, here's a fast multiple choice. I need the block letter only of the answer. For this problem, you should have negative 2y equals a negative 3x minus 10 and divide everything by negative 2. So that will give you a y equals a positive 3/2 x plus 5. This is the slope. This is the answer. Here are the homework answers. We'll go through each one. Each graph is 1 point. You could have 12 out of 10. Each graph is 1 point. You could have 12 out of 10. Here's number 1. Also, the directions on the test were to simply graph the equation. I had multiple questions about what do we do here, 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 and here. The directions on the screen were simply to graph the equation. Here's number 2. Three. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. And 12. Here's a quick review. Answer 2. 8. 3. 2. 5. What cancels out? 12 and 6, they become 2 and 1. So what's my answer? 4 over 3, that's right. What cancels out? 18 and 10 you could reduce, but there's something easier. Something easier than 36 and 20. 20 and 10 is simply 2 over 1, and this is 1/2. What cancels now? So the answer is 1, not 0. What cancels out? 28 and 7 becomes what? 4 over 1. 3 over 1. What's the answer? 12. What cancels out? 4 and 12, 18 and 9. So that's 1 and 3, and this is 2 and 1. What's the answer? 2 over 3. What cancels out? 3 and 15. 20 and 4. Now what?
1.
So the answer is 1, right. A lottery for everybody. The winning number is 9. A and A plus tests from Friday. First period. Darnell and Johnson had the high score of 1020 for that class. They also had Ruark and Bartley. Fourth period. Carver and Aaron Johnson, high score, and Kegley as well. Fifth period. Deems and Hammond, a 941 and a 1010 respectively. High score was Spradlin, 1038, and Blizzard had a 1010. Test review. Here are the answers if you want to check them over really quick. If you have less than a 700, you can come to intervention today. Intervention is for help with people needing help on current items. This is week 7 of the 9 weeks. If you have 3 and 4 tests that are below 700, we can't do all these in one day. There's not going to be enough time left. So you have to stay current with your stuff. If you have homework missing, you got to turn that in as soon as possible. Intervention is not catch-up time. It is intervention time on current issues. I have folks in other classes who have had a 700 on all, less than a 700 on all 5 tests and haven't been to intervention once. And they want to know if they can come in the last week. The answer is no. If you have homework missing, it's cut off, not next week, but the week after. The week after next week is the end of the 9 weeks, so if you don't have it in, it's just too late. You got to stay current on what we're doing. Here is the objective for today. CED A2. Create equations in 2 or more variables to represent relationships between quantities. Graph equations on coordinate axes with labels and scales. We've been on this for quite a while and have now made it to this part. Labels and scales. But before that, we have just one little tiny thing to look at. Here's example 1. Find the x and y intercepts for this linear equation. We already know how to find the y-intercept because we've had a test over this. And that is, you move this x term to the right and change the sign. And then once you do that, you divide everything by 4. So you end up with a negative 3/4 x minus 2. We've been over this. And we know that the y-intercept is right here. So we will label that as such. That's easy enough. We've already done this. But now the question is also asking you to find the x-intercept as well. So to find the x-intercept, once you have made it to this point and found the y, your next move is to do the following. Since the x-intercept is the spot on a graph at which the graph goes through the x-axis, if you have a point on the x-axis, the y value is automatically 0. If your point is on the x-axis, your y value is automatically 0. So you must put in 0 for y in order to solve for x. To find the x-intercept, you put in 0 for y once you have converted the slope-intercept form. And then you solve it. Alright, now to solve for this, you want to get this away from this. So just move this to the left side and change the sign to positive. And keep your minus 2 there on the right. Alright, so we have 3 over 4x equals negative 2. And to get the x by itself, you have to divide both sides by what's with the x. So in this case, it's a 3 over 4. The 3 over 4s cancel out. You're left with x equals negative 2 divided by 3 over 4. How can I express negative 2 as a fraction? That's right, negative 2 over 1. If I'm dividing by a fraction, I'm really doing what? Yes, I'm multiplying by the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4 over 3. So, once you get to this point, you have to multiply straight across. And you'll have negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8, and then over 3. For any intercept, always convert to a mixed number so that it's easier to find on a graph if you have to go plot it. 3 goes into 8 how many times? Twice, with how many left over? 2. Negative 2 2/3. And this is the x-intercept, right? I'm just trying to find my pen. There it is. The x-intercept. Here's example 3. A cell phone company charges a sign-up fee of $50. After that, they charge $25 per month for service. Create an equation to represent this arrangement and graph it. If you're going to graph an equation, what form should we have it in? There's 2 different forms we've studied. One starts with an S, the other one is a hyphenated SI. Slope-intercept is right, yes. So we know that the graph we want to create should look something like this, where we have a y-intercept B and a slope M. But now we have to figure out what we need to do. Okay, the cell phone company charges a sign-up fee of $50, and after that they charge $25 per month for service. Let's figure out where these numbers should go, the 50 and the 25. Just from reading that up here, what if I had a cell phone for 1 month? How much money will I have paid that company? $75. So how did you come up with 75? 50 plus 25. How did you get the 25? 1 month. So 25 times what? 1 and plus what? 50. All right. So what if I had it for 2 months? $100, because it's the sign-up fee of 50 plus what? Plus 25 for each month. So how did I get 50? 25 times 2. All right. What if you had it for 3 months? How much would you owe? 125. 50 of that is the sign-up fee that you've already paid. But 75 of it is from the monthly service. So for 3 months times 25, you have $75. Are you seeing the pattern? Starting to see the pattern. So do you have an idea of where the 25 and the 50 should go in this equation?
25x plus 50.
That is right. 25x plus 50. No matter how you work it out with that equation, you'll get the right amount that you're owed. What variable up there represents the amount of money that you have paid? Y. Yes, this represents the amount of money you have paid. What does X represent? The number of months. Right, yes, the number of months. So we have to go graph that. And now we get to the label and scales part of that objective. You have to remember to hit the record button first. What you have to do is to create your scale, you have to figure out what you're going to make each hash mark worth. Look at your slope first. It's 25. I know that I have to go up 25 and to the right 1. So would it make sense for me to make my scale 7, 14, 21, 28? No. What about 3, 6, 9, 12? No. What if I made it 5? If I made each hash mark on here 5, how far would I have to go up? 5 of them to make 25 and then to the right. There's just one problem with that scenario. The y-intercept is 50. We have to mark off 50 on here as well. So what do you think we should let each hash mark represent, Blevins?
10.
He says 10. Did you have something different? He says 25. Last period chose 10, and the first period chose 25. In the last period, we looked at 10, and we discovered that when we used 10, not enough of the graph showed up in that quadrant so that we could make more observations out beyond like 1 and 2 months. So we'll use the 25. Go in there and make sure you label it properly as 25, 50, 75, 100, and beyond that it becomes obvious. And remember, this is in terms of dollars. So we have the y-axis labeled and taken care of. What about the x-axis? What does the x-axis represent?
The months.
The months, yes, it's the number of months. And what should we do with that? Should we have 2 months at a time and go 2, 4, 6, 8, or should we have 1 month at a time? Yeah, we can do 1 month. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll give us at least 6, maybe 7 if we go to the very edge. So we can look at 7 months worth here. Now graph the equation. Remember what the y-intercept was. It was 50. So there's 50. And the slope was 25. So we go up 25 and to the right 1. Make a dot. We can graph this. Alright, put arrows on that. Now once you have your graph, if you made it 10 for your scale, then you would have ended up with something that looked like this. It would have been more up this way, like that. And notice that you would not be able to make many more judgments beyond 2 months. But with this scale, we can go clear out to 5 months in this small quadrant. What about 5 months? If I had 5 months of service, what will I have paid according to this graph? 175. This would be 100 here, and that's 125, 150, and 175 right there. That matches up with the 5. All right. Any questions about this? That's the